Good evening to everybody. We're back again for a couple of prediction shows. The last two of the week will be coming in here as we build towards another big weekend in America and, of course, at the Co-op Live Arena in Manchester, which is where we're going for this one. Jay and Liam with me, as always. We've got Pat McCormack taking a step up, it's probably fair to say, boys, against Robbie Davies Jr. in this fight. He's 29 now, Pat McCormack. He's only had 6 fights. Obviously undefeated coming in. He hasn't fought anyone really of note yet, it's probably fair to say. 4 knockouts in there. He's Olympic silver medalist in 2020. I think it's probably fair to say McCormack, he's been, I wouldn't say necessarily he's been underwhelming, but he's not really been pushed and promoted that hard, I don't think, since his turn pro. And, at the age of 29, he probably has to take fights like Robbie Davies Jr. Now, there's no point in him keep treading water at this stage. A, due to his age, and B, because he's not making that many shockwaves. Or am I off the mark, do you think, with that?
No, mate. For me, you're bang on the mark. Look, we're talking about the 2020 Olympics that was delayed by a year to 2021, and we're now in 2025. So coming up to 4 years ago, and this is only his 7th outing as a pro. I know both him and his brother really took time to think about if they wanted to stay as amateurs before they turned pro, but that's 2.5 years ago now that they both committed to the pro game. They're in a very good gym with Ben Davidson down in Essex, which is fantastic for them, but they're just not moving fast enough. I mean, Robbie Davies Jr., this is a crossroads fight in the sense that Robbie Davies is over the hill from what we've seen from him over the last couple of years, and this is kind of his last stand. Pat McCormack is that young, supposedly, let's go with up-and-coming fighter that's trying to get towards British world level, and this is the test, isn't it? You expect Pat McCormack to come through this fairly convincingly, but I'm saying that not off of what I've seen from him, more what you expect from this type of fight. Robbie Davies, if he's got anything left, if he's, if the partnership with Ant Crawl is really flourishing, may have one big performance left in him, especially if Pat's not as dedicated to this pro game as you need to be to get the rewards.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, Ant Crawl is someone who you know very well, Jay. He's now training RDJ. I've watched his last couple of fights. His performance against Javier Fortuna wasn't the best last time out.
Lost that fight.
Yeah,
should have lost.
It was on that Pro Box card in Belfast that Paddy McCrory headlined, and he was dropped in the first round. I think Davies got dropped in the last round of that one. Then, we saw the war he had with Lipinets. We saw his vulnerabilities against Azim, although Azim was good the other week as well. I think Liam could be right. It probably is a last stand here for Robbie Davies Jr. Pat will be a big favourite, Jay, but how do you kind of see things?
I mean, Robbie Davies now is in with Kroll. I think he'll stop McCormack in first round with a body shot. It's the reason they've given him it to McCormack is because it's a name.
A name?
He has to move he has to move quicker than somebody turning over at 21, 22. He has the Olympic silver medal, which gives him that extra credence to be able to justify having fights against named opponents in his 6th fight. Robbie Davies Jr., whatever you may think of him, has boxed at a high level, fringe world level. I think he's boxed at for the British title, I believe.
British and European champion he's been.
There you go. So he's boxed at a high level. We will see whether Pat's that good, because if Pat can't beat someone like Robbie Davies Jr. or struggles against someone like Robbie Davies Jr., then his Olympics, because look, Olympic medals or good Olympic performances give you that credence and stand you in good stead, but don't necessarily mean that you're any good. Prime example, Audley Harrison, Olympic gold medalist, absolutely dog shit as a professional, and anybody can have a go at me at that, but if you look at his record, anytime he boxed anyone decent, he fell to pieces. I was there ringside when Wilder nearly murdered him with 50 windmill punches. So look, your Olympic silver medal gives you a name, but it's your skills that give you the reputation. And I'm sick of hearing about how good the McCormacks are. Pat's meant to be the better of the two. I know Luke's had issues with medicals behind the scenes, I believe, and that's what slowed him down. But it's sink or swim time now. It's a crossroads fight for both of them, but different ends of the spectrum. Robbie Davies Jr. to see what he's got left, and McCormack to see what he has, if anything. That's not me asking that question. That's just a general statement.
Yeah, it's a benchmark, isn't it?
If struggles against Robbie Davies Jr., then he's not as good as what we're being led to believe. Because if he is, He should wipe the floor with Robbie Davies Jr. And that's no disrespect to Robbie. Different ends of the spectrum. McCormack is meant to be one of the best prospects this country has seen in the last 10 years. Not my words. They are words that have come out of his promoter and manager's mouth. So if he is, then he'll have absolutely no problems with Robbie Davies Jr. and should get him out of there in under 5 rounds. Yeah,
I'd gone for a 7th round stoppage for Pat McCormack. I think it'll be more systematic, but I just think that Robbie Davies is a tad over the hill. I think his punch resistance isn't. He is up in weight. It has to be said. He's campaigned at 140 for the majority of his career, so that may help a little bit, but. It's just timing, isn't it? Timing's everything, and you just have to favour Pat McCormack in this fight. That's the obvious thing to say. But if Robbie Davies Jr. can find a big performance, wind back the clock, whatever it is,
we'll find out how good he is. Because listen, Robbie Davies Jr. can whack. I know Pat can whack, but Robbie Davies Jr. can whack, albeit at a lower weight, but not. He can whack, and if you can whack, you can whack. Yeah, it doesn't transfer across all the weight divisions, and there is a limit to how far it will go. But he whacks hard enough to trouble Pat McCormack if Pat don't mind his P's and Q's. And if he's looked past Robbie Davies Jr., this is the kind of fight where he'll lose. Yeah. All it takes is a clash of heads and a cut or a flash knockdown, and then he's panicking and his game plan goes out the window. Yes, he's got Ben Davison in his corner, but on the flip side, Robbie Davies Jr. has got Ant Crawler in his corner. Crawler has been in every single circumstance, personally, within the ring that you can imagine. He's been knocked out early. He's been knocked out late. He's been stopped late. He's had draws. He's had cuts. He's had disqualification. He's seen it all. So there is no situation that McCormack can put Robbie Davies Jr. in that at the end of the round, Ant Crawler can't give him some advice on what to do. That may play a pivotal part in this fight. I believe that McCormack will win, but if he's not on it, then Team Davies Jr. could pull off an upset. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Predictions, boys. I've gone 7. Jay, you think maybe within 5? Did you say for
5?
Yeah, 5 for McCormack. Liam, what's your pick?
Look, it's the acid test. It's where we find out it's put up or shut up time for Pat McCormack. You're either going to be able to do something in the pro game, or unfortunately, you're another example of an Olympian that can't make the transfer over. I think the fact that Robbie's up in weight, I see it similar to a Lewis Ritson scenario. He's not moving up in weight because he was struggling. He's doing it because it's the only way for him to get opportunities at this point of his career. So I'm leaning towards a Pat McCormack stoppage, but it's weird. Despite where Robbie's at in his career, I'm not saying it with real certainty. I'm just going with what I expect to happen. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Robbie does pull it off. But Pat might stop it around 6 to 8, I'll go for, but wouldn't be surprised if Robbie pulls it off.
Thanks for joining us, Ryan. He's got Pat McCormack winning the decision. That outcome wouldn't surprise me. Robbie is very, very tough. We'll leave it there for this one then. Thanks to Jay and Liam, as always. With 3 of us are picking Pat McCormack, but we definitely think Robbie Davies Jr. could be a factor in this fight for sure. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back for what I believe is going to be the listed co-main event for the British and Commonwealth Super Feather Championships in the next minute or two. This is going to be a fun one, boys. Reece Bellotti, Michael Gomez Jr. We'll catch you in a few.